Greetings, everyone. This is Yahya Kandil from Group Professor Surgeon. Today, I will present the Reach historical to present statement of Berlin. I will present historical cultural timeline starting from the 17th century, presenting the origin of two towns were merged on 1309, from Berlin going through political wars through the years and events for stabilization and resources to form a stable infrastructure after facing intruders such such as the Persians and French occupation. A city were planned and infrastructure well to maintain resources and having efficient transportation network. There were historical culture events affected the present Berlin, starting from the wars and political and science events, forming what we witness today of modern Berlin. Also, there were historical landmarks that witnessed depression and injustice, social events such as the Berlin Wall, which is now completely representing an open art wall to present the freedom of speech, and it's a proof of complete life changing. Several artworks that were presented in the National Gallery have a relation with the location, such as the composition with blue and black and yellow, and the movement of the Bauhaus. Also, the painting for George, the artist, the railway crossing. It was also presenting the depression between and caused because the Berlin Wall, the empty box, also were also presented, and it has relation to the solidarity of the architecture in Berlin at the time. And today, definitely, Berlin can be introduced as it has a cultural diversity, as the 30% of Berlin residents are immigrants, and the rest are diverse, rooted, um, or natives. So the city encouraged community engagement of the resident to encounter climate change problems and toward more resilient cities, such as having trees planted and cleaning the city, and etc. But unfortunately, the social structure and barriers are hindering the equal access to resources such as education and health are presented, and the government in consistent effort to eliminate it, affecting social context and creating more movement to narrow the story by art and music and technology, hoping to face and eliminate the systematic challenges and discriminancy and social exclusions, and how that would affect gender-based inequalities opportunities as well. There are several examples of projects that completely transform to serve the people and enhance the social experience of the residents, such as the field, which were airplane used to be an airplane landing, and now it's a big park that can be used for different. This is the Berlin Wall and how AI transformed that into artistic approach, and these more events that happened. And moving to the most important, and how I presented the locality between Florida and merged with Berlin to introduce more greenery and wetlands, and which is Berlin already has, and they maintain that into this will be at the end presenting that this. So to understand uh, Berlin and to get the synthesis and thesis, we have to understand the mapping and site analysis of what we see today. So today, compared by Berlin in 1953, has showed the rapid urban growth with keeping and maintaining the resources they have, as actually green spaces has increased more than 20% in the 70 years past. Also, to understand the city, we have to overview it from the macro scale, then move to the micro, and finally the neighborhood. So that's a 3 mile radius where the site we have and how it encounters several spaces. And this is a critical multicultural urban footprint, as there is a significant factors that created and affected the site as well. Um, Focal points that attract art and museums and theaters is the urban fabric here is completely iron grid to be identified with, and also urban fabric has a more connected artistic approaches and galleries and museums next to it. So I would recommend presenting locality versus national or international. So I can introduce the surroundings, such as the St. Matthew Church, and from the every every side of the site has significant factors and landmarks, which created a focal point. And to understand the land use of the diverse culture and uses, such as the residential, administrative, and the cultural buildings, and also historical buildings that were built before 1945, and the new schools that is considered new, which is built after 1945. So also we have to understand the population density and how these areas has very variable numbers of density as well. Um, so Berlin has almost 4 million residents, the population, and according to Berlin government website, this is an average population density per area and representing how it's on divided by building heights and blocks as well. Moving into the solid and void map, this is representing 86% solid and 14% void in this 3 mile radius, and has a conclusion of there is a significant footprint, and there is also green space that trying to eliminate the greenhouse effects and planting the trees as is obvious on the plans. And also, circulation behavior and cycle and pedestrians are very well maintained, as the transportation network is completely flexible. They have a complicated network that this complicated network cover each other and has a frequent use of transit, including subway and buses and trams and regional trains, facilitating widespread accessibility within the city. Introducing the flora and fauna is very a crucial thing, as the 3 mile radius have a very rich ecosystem, such as the flora, which is these are some of the existing trees and bushes and flowers that add more greenery to the space. Also, the fauna, these are some of the rich fauna that it has, the Berlin has, and some of these are very rare populated animals, such as the European pine marten and the shrubs. This is also a very rare creature, but it has on the forests in Berlin and green spaces. Climate analysis for temperature and sky cover, sun shading charts, and wind wheel, which were specifically picked up due to the project and how these factors could affect presenting artworks and presenting the local galleries projects. Moving into the ecology, and the ecology presenting the natural resources and how the designers are seeking toward green Berlin as they encountering green roofs, green facades, and presenting as well the biodiversity, which is nature versus man-made, and how the city encouraging the community engagement and the social resilience. Moving to the culture and the people and how it was affected by the previous factors, and how architecture speaks and presenting a strong heritage of Berlin and the biodiversity and the cultural diversity, and how that adding more resilience to Berlin. Berlin is very rich city in art and heritage and music, and these things are built according to the events that Berlin witnessed. So the economy and the food aspect, according to Berlin Ministerial Conference that occurred recently, Uniting for Global Food Security, and the conclusion points by the chairs were basically encouraging more community engagement, encouraging more greenery spaces, encouraging more sustainable and resilient solutions, and the climate adaptation and agriculture, and enhancing the awareness to the people. This is the city skyline, as it represents the skyline for the near to the side from the 4 elevations, north and south and west and east, and actually it represents as well how it has waterfront and natural encounter and on the north west side. And this is a social topographical and hydraulic analysis representing the layers and how these layers presenting the like topography, then how the water permeability underground, and moving to the status index classifications and how this is related to social classifications in Berlin and as a tool of sociological and urban studies. So To conclude that, um, in response to the dynamic urban fabric of Berlin and the growing need of an exclusive community spaces, the thesis of the proposed design and implementation of a culturally vibrant exchange hub, which is focusing on fostering the understanding and awareness and the diversity and the social interactions. Project aim to address identified gaps in the city and the current urban landscape, contributing to more cohesive and enriched community experience. And the antithesis, while the idea of a culture exchange hub in Berlin is commendable for the intent to foster community interactions, and the challenging to implement that, creating at the end the untouchable project, which is the emerge and emphasis of importance of the balanced and exclusive urban development, creating a community input and addressing concern of the culture exchange hub. Thank you, and I hope you enjoyed the presentation. This is the AI imagination interpretation of the thesis as well to create some social diverse project that enhance the injustice social experience. Thank you.